recording stops. If you see up in the in this corner here where my mouse is, there's a little circle with a dot in it, and that is the stop recording toggle. When you want to finish the recording, you just click that, and your recording will pop out. Okay? Good? All right, Mr. Secretary, let's go ahead and begin. So, a few things that I'd like to do. One is, I'm very, very sorry today. I was planning to attend this meeting on time, but I realized that we have some sync issues with existing squads. So I'm trying to find a time that everybody can attend. Is Saturday 1 p.m. a good time for everyone? To Ara first, it's a good time for you.
Yeah.
Okay, so then Gabby, it's a good time for you.
It is, as long as the sync up on squad 2 already finished.
Okay, great. So I would then like to make a motion to change the time from Saturday 11 o'clock to Saturday 1 p.m. Wita. Do I have a second on the motion?
I second that motion.
Okay, the motion has been seconded, and we vote. Everyone is in favor. Okay, great. So, oh yeah, Mr. Secretary, yes, I have to delegate that to you. Please change the time so we're in agreement. Okay, the other thing I'd like to make is a proxy list, meaning no matter what, we should always start the meetings on time. So in today's particular case, because I had an unexpected occurrence happen, so I was held behind. So I would like to set up a proxy, and this is my suggested proxy. Mr. Secretary, can you put a new line on the key results? And what it will be is a proxy. So essentially, it's a proxy circle. If Jing isn't here, then Ara will host the meeting. If Ara isn't here, then Gabby will run through the meeting and record it himself, right? So essentially, we always are able to actually have some sort of documentation and some sort of meeting in case there's a fall in the chain. So a proxy list is essentially just, let's say, Jing to Ara and then to Gabby. Very good. Okay. I would also like to have another discussion about this. Should there be what should we do if there's only one person in the meeting?
Well, record themselves and talking about the the journal that have been happening, the questions that have been happening in my week, but I'm not sure what exactly to talk about because there's sometimes like you have questions, I have questions, and it's supposed to be my question supposed to be answered by you, or your question supposed to be answered by me. So, what exactly the video is about?
Good. Okay. I think just a documentation of those questions can actually be pretty helpful. Meaning, I've noticed, for example, Ara, a lot of people that we train right now for reservations and air support, they all ask the same questions, right? They all ask the same questions over and over again, and we've never really found a way to absorb all those questions and then answer those questions. So they have to ask the question over and over again. Each new person asks the same questions. I think these questions are actually very valuable data. I think if we harvest all the questions, we answer all the questions, and then we just set this as training now. We say, all right, these are the top 100 questions that people ask when they first start doing HR at Bukit Vista. These are the first 10 questions. We create the videos for it, and then we create videos for the answers of it. And so the journal and this guild is an attempt to essentially codify the entire set of experiences that new people would have, so that in the future, we do not have to repeat ourselves again. We're going to say, please watch the video. We've answered pretty much 80 to 90% of your questions in these videos. And we've asked about 80 to 90% of the questions that you're likely to ask. So I'm just trying to document everything so that at a later date, we can just send an HR candidate in and just say, study this please, and give us comments on whatever you don't understand, and I'll answer those. That's the idea. Okay, so can we then make a motion that if there is only one person in, then at least they just record whatever they feel is unclear or uncertain, and then we can review all that in the next sync up, right? And then we can understand, okay, that's what we need to take care of. Okay, the motion has been seconded. Let's go ahead and cover that. So if there's only one person, we keep the documentation for a future sync up. It can either be a video, I guess, or it can be written, so that way it's clear. Okay, let's go on to any old business. Yes, ma'am.
So before we go to the next things, so if there's only one person, we just documented the questions, right?
Yeah, you can document the questions, or if you just want to go and say, hey, look, I'm here in this meeting, and I'm just going to conduct a meeting by myself. Here's my question A, here's my question B, here's my question C, and it's mostly this for it's not for us to see, it's for a future candidate to see, so that they're just watching like what you're experiencing, and then later on we can attach to that video a document that says these are the answers to those questions. We can even cut the video later with Rizal, Bonar, whoever's going to do content, and be like, we can cut your questions with an answer. We can cut your questions with an answer. But we need to just get that feeling across, that feeling of what does confusion look like? What does being uncertain about this look like? And then we can have that base document, then that base content. The visualization in the future is this. All right, let's say, for example, I'm going to host you a 5-minute video on what new HR candidates feel when they're experiencing life at Bukit Vista. Question number 1, and it can be your video capture. I'm wondering, I'm trying to get through this inbox right now. I don't know which answer to do first. We cut that part in, and then we interleave it with another part. This is what we do in that case, right? And then the next part, I'm not sure about this, and this looks all weird. And then we interleave it with another part with somebody answering. But we need that in order to create an excellent training video, and that's why I asked for video documentation.
Okay.
Okay? All right, great. So let's continue then. Thank you very much, Ara, for bringing that up. I know there's quite some uncertainty. The reason to have a guild is that we're going to explore uncertainty together, and we're going to answer questions together. And with each day, we're going to get more certain and become more expert at this particularly new department. We've done it before many times in content, in photography, in revenue management, in all the new fields that need to develop at a certain point in the Bukit Vista journey. And so this is actually pretty normal. This is actually a part of that process. Okay, let's continue. Let's go into old business first. Ideally, before we begin a meeting, put in whatever you want to discuss as new business, and whatever that has been discussed goes from new business then to old business, okay? So since we're starting all this fresh, let's start with the new business. Ara, do you have any new business that you would like to discuss?
Actually, it was the emails that the screenshot of the emails that I put on the May. I forgot, but under that pictures.
Okay,
But
great.
you already put some comments about this fast reply.
Okay, very good. So let's go ahead, Gabby, and say that there are some email questions from Ara on as new business. Okay, very good. After we finish that, let's go to Gabby. Gabby, do you have any new business that you want to discuss?
My new business will be how do I get the first screening, and we just talked about it with Ara actually.
Okay.
So I know the guideline to process the first candidate
Okay.
before we pass it to the next step or add it right away.
Okay, very good. Please document that, sir. Please say that you want to understand more about how to do a first screening. Okay, great. Let me see what else is on the list then for, whoa, this is so heavy. Oh, it's because I'm recording. Okay. Ugh. Yeah, Aura always remembers this, yeah? If I'm recording, then the screen moves very, very slowly. Okay. Okay, on my list for new business, I would like to add a few things. Let's see. Interesting question. Okay, all right, fantastic. I would like to add, actually, also on the same thing, on pre-interview screening by Jing as a new order of new business. So this is a pre-interview screening. And then on-site human resources trials as my next order of new business, on-site HR trials. And then, yeah, passion, and how to screen on passion as my third item. And then maximizing university relations, or university relations as my fourth item. Okay, very good. Let's go ahead and start the discussion about email questions. So, Ara, I see that you had this question over here, and it was about how did this candidate apply before they actually were. Well, let's actually read the thing. So, Ara writes on May 9th, there's a candidate card on Trello on the new entry section. None of us tagged the card yet. When I'm about to tag myself, I saw that she already scheduled a time with Jane. And I wonder, how did she get an invitation in the first place? Okay, so my explanation for that is this, Ara. I have a few processes that I'm running right now that I have not told you about, and this is a good time for discovery. So, on urgent hires, on people I really want to hire urgently, I send them essentially down towards the funnel faster. So I'll send them a link to apply on the website. I'll send them also a link to sign up for an interview. And the reason for that is because sometimes we have essentially two modes, right? If we don't want to hire somebody quickly, we want to keep the candidate engaged, but not moving too quickly because it crowds up the funnel. So we put them on like a slow cycle. And the idea of a slow cycle is this. The slower the cycle, they're actually more beneficial to us. If a candidate remains in a slow cycle pipeline for, let's say, 3 months, and they come out of that, and they still want to work at Bukit Vista, that is a great candidate. But that means also that we are waiting very long, and we're waiting for very rare people to complete a 3-month cycle. So that's on a slow hire. If we really need somebody really urgently, like the way we needed a host in Squad 1, then I need to set up a faster hiring cycle. So I send essentially 2 different messages depending upon the urgency of the role. I send either a BV fast apply in a case where we need to hire somebody quickly, and I send just J app BV for a candidate that we're putting on a slower cycle for a role that is not urgent. Now, why do we do that? Why don't we just leave them in the inbox on JobStreet? Normally, a candidate is most likely to engage with your company few days after they apply. So if you don't reach back out to them and you say, hey, look, thank you for applying, please check out our website, they will probably float away, or somebody else will get a hold of their attention. But ideally, we should start getting a person's attention as soon as they apply, starting to look at our website, starting to take a look at everything. They should go through a process of understanding Bukit Vista, reading the blogs, understanding like what the mission of the company is. And so I'm trying to get that started. So that's essentially the philosophy behind why this thing happened. And when you do see an invitation, that is most likely why that's happened. Is there any more discussion about this? Is this a good policy? Do we need to change it? Do we need to have more discussion about this? Yes, Gabby.
Sir, this slow cycle, if we meant to wait for the candidate that is unlikely to unemployed for the 3 months, I mean, they must be apply for another company too, right?
Yes.
But what if that during the 3 months that he already got another place, but when we
that's okay.
back again,
that's okay. That's oh, sorry. Go ahead, Gabby. Please finish your statement.
Yes. So when they got contact again with us and say, yes, I already got a new place, but I'm open to join again.
Oh, I would beware about somebody who joined a company and then wants to join you again. I would be very careful about that. That's a person who, I mean, if you just started a job and you're already looking for a new job, what's to stop them from looking for another job after we've employed them? So in that particular case, I would say that's probably not a good hire. But in, let's say, the case where the person got hired and we didn't get them, that's okay too, because that role was not urgent anyways. So it's not like we absolutely need to get that person through. Good? Did I answer your question?
Yeah, but if they ask like, yeah, I do still want to apply at Bukit Vista at the first place, but since I didn't get any feedback yet or notification to join during the past 3 months, so I decided to do something first while waiting. Is that still count or
Uh, I'll pass this question to Ara. Ara, how do you feel about this?
About having them on site files.
No, about what Gabby just said.
Can you please repeat? I don't really quite understand about your statement. That
so? My question is if what Jing said, we put some candidate on a slow cycle by making them engage while waiting for this not urgent role, then the person must be looking for another option, right? And when we try to reach them back after 3 months, and they say they already ongoing on some company,
okay.
but they
Maksud
still
saya
interest to join Bukit Vista. And Jing said it's pretty dangerous for that kind of people who just got another company and want to move to the new place. But
okay.
if they said that that's what they do while waiting for us, what do we say or handle that kind of question?
Jadi pertanyaannya whether should we still consider this candidate or not?
Yeah.
Itu. Oh, my question is this candidate already sign up themselves to actually working in that company, or they're still like getting the offer but not working yet?
Maybe they got the offer yet, but not start. But since we already reached them back, and they open to that other option again, like whatever they can get first.
Kalau based on what I think, as long as they're not actually apa re-enroll themselves to the new job, and like because like I think it's normal for candidates to have alternatives. Like for example, they're just like having what is it? Okay, I'm applying for Bukit Vista, but then I look for any other alternative if I'm not accepted in Bukit Vista. And then maybe in the terms of in that period of time, they got accepted somewhere else, and then they said, "Hey, I got offered and I got accepted here, so I'm waiting for your what is it? I'm waiting for your notification whether I'm accepted in Bukit Vista or not. If I am accepted in Bukit Vista, then I'm going to prioritize itu bagus. But then if they're actually already took the offer in the other company and still reach out to us and then said, hey, I am working here now. I just got an offer. But if you're still accepting me, I would take that candidate. I wouldn't take that candidate. Get what I mean? Yeah.
Yep, I got it.
Okay. I would also say, Gabby, that's pretty rare. I've never reached out, or maybe it has happened, but we just didn't know. It's pretty rare that somebody gets two job offers around the same time. But yeah, I guess it could happen. Okay. Mainly, it's also this, Gabby. We want to look for people who want to look for us. So let's say somebody on the slow pipeline. Randy is actually a pretty good example of that right now. He's taken months and 30 emails to get our attention. I think that's actually going to be a pretty good candidate. And it's funny because we were trying to hire for a pretty urgent role, which is the Chengdu host. But for some reason, it's taken quite a while to get him through the pipeline. But yes, I think the more the candidate actually wants to be here, the higher fit that should be. And in terms of your viewpoint about how we recruit people, I would say try to think of it this way. If they really want to be here, you'll know that. And if they are sort of like between two or three different things, then it's probably not the best fit either, because it's a pretty fragile relationship thing. Okay, all right, great. If that's okay, then let's move on to the next subject. Everyone okay?
Okay.
All right, fantastic. Let's go to the next one. Gabby, what's the next order of business?
One moment, sir. The next order of the business is understanding the first screening.
Oh, yes. Okay, all right, let's take a look at that. First screening. First screening right here.
Yep.
Okay, I'm opening it
I
up.
already put one of my red flags and you already commented about it.
Oh, yeah.
If the candidate complains about the previous job, or if the candidate takes too much credit for things, that's
Yeah.
a bad sign.
Yep, okay. these are great. So essentially, the first screening, what all I really expect to do is to screen out like absolute just no goes, right? It's pretty easy. If a person doesn't show up, that's already a no go. There's so few reasons why you shouldn't show up to an interview. There's so very few. Like, like, like a lot of people say, oh yeah, my mom died or my grandmother's sick. I'm like, yeah, but what are the chances of that happening? I mean, just like your mom only dies once in your life, and she died exactly on the day, on the hour that you were interviewing. That I find a little bit ludicrous. I think that if they announce it beforehand, that's the only way that I could like say, okay, fine, you know, that's probably a realistic statement. But what do you guys think about that in terms of being able to show up? Should there be any conditions where somebody is allowed to show up, or is there no excuse for not showing up?
Well, there's an excuse if they actually give notification in advance, and it just happened to me once this year. It was like 2 days ago. There is this candidate called India, and then he notified me before the interview via email, and then he said, "Sorry, there's a bad weather, and I don't want to have a bad connection, so I would like reschedule if that's okay." Well, I do really appreciate that, because like even if like classic kind of reasons that people said that my mom takes, my grandma takes, I have to take them to the hospital. Well, at least I think they can still actually notify us via email or whatever. So,
Good.
so yeah, it's not acceptable if somebody just gone.
Great. Gabby, what are your thoughts?
Totally agree with Ara, sir. Since like we have our own flexible timing too. Like when we said, hey, can you do an interview tomorrow on Sunday or on Monday? And he said, yeah, I can, but can you do it on your time or our time? Like the first girl who have been interviewed, she said it before that, hey, can I move my schedule to 11 WIB? And I said, yeah, sure. We can still do that. I mean, it's only 15 minutes.
All right.
So prior notification is better than you just making excuse on the day you're supposed to show up.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Yes, all
Yeah,
right.
and I have a question. So I think there's something wrong with our VC apply or VC interview.
Okay.
It's that, I think we need to actually give due date to the interview section, the interview time. Just like I don't get it. I just invite people to an interview, and then they sign up themselves to have an interview with me next month. Which is that's too long, and I cannot.
It's not a bad thing, all right. It might not be a bad thing. It's like they're really long-term planners, right?
Yeah, but that's weird. I mean, are we supposed to like put, please sign up yourself through this Calendly within 3 days or a week? I don't know, is that necessary or not, do you think?
I think you can set up your Calendly to only accept reservations within a certain future date.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure you can set up Calendly so that you do not have any options open.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
past a certain date. And I suggest that could be the easiest way to then also not overbook yourself in some future date. Yeah? And that would solve that. Okay, great, fantastic. Okay, so we agree. Now we have a value here. We have a value that essentially no candidates that don't show up should be allowed to interview, and that is a failure from your first screening. And think about that. Think about, do you want that person next to you on the day of peak check-ins? And they say that, my mom died, right? Or whatever happened. You're like, wow, so convenient, isn't it? Yeah? Or whatever it might be. So we've had that in the past, and we know what that looks like. And I think if they're going to do that before they even arrive, that's definitely a red flag. Okay, so very good. We're building some values. Next red flag is, I think the candidate needs to know some basic research about the company, meaning that they should know what the company does and they should know the job description. Do we have any discussion about that?
We just talk about it actually.
Okay.
Before you came in.
Okay, great. So fill me in, just top level, or give me the summary, the snippet.
We do a two-phase screening, right? First with you, and then you pass it to either to me or Ara. And if the first thing that actually you already kind of give a hint for the candidate to study our core values, their job description, what they apply to, even though they apply it randomly from job street or anything, at least you read what is been written.
Yeah.
That if you don't know anything about it, then that means you're not serious with the company.
All right.
You don't have interest
Yeah.
at all.
Okay. Very good. Ara.
Okay, I have a question. So, does candidate actually can see core values through the website?
Yes.
Yep,
It's
it's
right.
on jobs.
You should know that. Oh my god.
I did. I placed myself as a
You
candidate
can't.
first.
You can't do this job if you don't know that.
No, I mean the So I always ask that first questions to the candidate. Did you visit our website? I always ask that.
Yeah.
And then they're going to say, yeah, I did. And then I always ask what information that you get from the website. And then most of them actually can tell about the core values, but there are some that said, no, we cannot find the core values from the website. So
Here they are, right here.
It's even on the email when Jing sent it to the candidate. Please read our website at Bukit Vista/jobs, and it's pop up right away.
Yeah. So unless I don't know, unless you don't want to read that, or maybe there's TLDR and you just go, I'll just look at the pretty photos and I'll just watch the video. It seems like most people do that though. They watch the video and they look at the photos, and I think they gloss over the text. But that's actually a very, very good screening level. It means that their English comprehension or their written communication is not very strong. That if they only prefer to look at photos and look at a video, it's probably a candidate who is not going to be good at written communication or reading written communication, as we do a lot of here at this company. So okay, good point. But yes, the core values are written, and we do ask them to study them before arrival.
okay, so then do you think it is okay to ask about core values test on the first interview? Because like we used to have that on the on-site for the host evaluation, right? Usually we have that after you send the paper that have the core values highlighted.
Right.
So do you think it's okay for you having a core value
Very good
test?
question. Okay, all right. To Gabby, what do you think? What do you think about having a core value test on the first interview?
Like I said before, if the candidate read it, they supposed to know what are the core values and what can they relate to one of our core values.
Okay.
Like some candidates talk something that really similar to our core values, but when I ask, yeah, do you know that on our core values? No.
Oh, I see. Okay, got it. Okay.
Unrelatable.
Here's the way I feel about it. It is a technicality, but it could be an important technicality. Meaning, let's say for example, I'm reading your website. I studied everything about your company vision. I totally agreed with whatever, but I forgot to read that detailed in the core values. I didn't drill down into that. Then if you reject somebody just for that, it's kind of like we're part of the cool kid club and you don't know our cool kid rules, so you can't join us. But then it's like, it's a little bit delicate. That brings me to the next topic actually, which is about it's also part of pre-screening, which I'd like to talk about actually just right after this matter of business. Okay, so I'd like to form a value around this. Should core values be mandatory for a first-time candidate to understand on the first interview? To Ara.
I think so, yeah.
Okay, all right, to Gabby?
Yes, sir.
Okay, all right, great. Let's give that a shot and see what kind of results we get, right? So what I'd like to then do as an action is, if they can't name 2 core values, then that's a red flag, yeah? Or how many core values should they remember?
Yeah.
It's one of Freddy's case.
What?
Should we have a cutoff on how many core values they should know?
Usually I ask
At least 2.
3 usually.
Okay, 3. Okay, let's go with 3 and see what happens. What we're going to measure now is to see what the input flow is, right? So if the input flow gets really constrained, we know that this part might be too stringent and maybe we overshot. If it's still pretty good and a lot of good people come out, then it's a necessary or it's a good question.
Standard.
Yes. Okay, so let's go. I think that was you. You gave the idea of three, Ara, right? So Ara, can you just put on the document if they can't answer three core values? Oh, okay. Ara's is essentially if they can't answer three core values, then that's a red flag. All right. Okay, the next part is a question bank. So I'm sitting together with you guys to think of good questions to ask for a first-time candidate. I call it a question bank because you can use whatever sequence of questions you want. You can use whatever type of questions you want. It's just like there for your inspiration, right? So today we'll fill out some more questions on the question bank, and then we'll come back again to follow up on acceptable answers. Okay, so in addition, let's go with the next question here. Would you like to add a question to the question bank?
I have, but 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So there are only 15 here.
Yeah.
Well, the thing for, oh yeah, I'd like to tell you that every time for the first interview, I have this folder in my Dropbox.
Okay.
It's called interview, and then you open that file, it will consist of the roles in the class. So like, I have templatized. I have a template for every role, so that every single time there I'm going to interview a person, I will open that and then make a new document based on the role.
Oh wow.
So
Okay.
yeah, it's actually for the question bank. I don't remember it because like I make every role has a different question.
Sure.
I have to take a look at the previous first.
Okay. Do you remember any questions that you'd like to ask?
Uh,
Can you share it?
yeah, sure.
Okay. While Ara's working on that, let's go to Gabby. Gabby, do you have any questions that you'd like to ask?
There's one question that I actually want to ask if I'm on that position of a candidate. That what is the passion that you think you can contribute to the place that you work?
Okay. So what can you contribute to the place you work? Oh, Gabby, sorry, you're secretary. I'll let you write that in. Please go ahead and put that on the document. Okay.
I have one in general that Jung actually told me to actually be a better HR is that asking every candidate about their roles that they applied. Like, can you tell me 5 good quality of being a good host or a good business development or a good
Okay. Great.
architect? Yeah. Bisa mas tolong ditulis di bawah.
Yeah. Can you repeat that?
Can you please tell me 5 good qualification for being a good,
For the role.
yeah, for the role.
For being a good, for being a
For the role aja.
Okay. Let's see. What questions do you have for me?
What?
That's it. That's the question. Do you have any questions?
Oh yeah, itu sudah the last question I used to ask. Do you have any questions in mind that you like to ask me?
Okay. All right, Gabby, we can put that down. Oh, here's another good one. Why do you think that? It's never the first question, but it's a really good follow-up question.
just put it there.
Well, usually I love to ask feedback questions like, well, you know that we're a startup company. What is the most important thing to make a startup company a successful one?
Yeah. Good.
What is
So, what makes a startup company can become a successful one? I think the most perfect answer is supposed to be innovation,
Yeah.
idea, or things like that. But surprisingly, there are a lot of people that answers like good service, and then such and such. And I have a follow-up questions to that. I used to ask, okay, if you said that to be successful, one is to be having a good service, then what is the difference with a corporate company? And they're going to be like, oh yeah, wait, I forgot. I confused.
That's good. That's good. It's good to stump people on that one. Okay. Gabby, back to you. Any ideas on your side?
Not yet, sir.
All right. Great. Any new questions from your side, Gabby?
Not yet.
Okay, great. Okay, let's go ahead and close out this line of business. So we have a bit more structure now on first-time interviews. We are going to put this on old business and follow up again on the next HR cycle to talk about what are good, acceptable answers. I would like you guys, if you find out any new questions, to also contribute to the question bank, because then this could be a really good exercise document to, once again, give to a new person who's doing HR, and they'll know how to get into the flow of doing the first screening. Okay, let's go up top level again and take a look at the other lines of business that we're doing. All right, Gabby, what's our next? Oh, pre-interview screening. Pre-interview screening. This is what I'm doing now. Here, I'll show you what I have. I send this out quite a lot, and it saves me a lot of time, and I think it's a great thing. So before, I would tell people, register on the website, register on the website, register on the website. Then I would take a look at their CV, and I would usually give a person who looked halfway decent an invitation to interview. And then what was freaking annoying was half those people never showed up, right? Like they would just like float, and you know this RO too, right? Just like they never show up.
Yeah.
So I decided, why don't I just actually have that first interview in an email? So this is what I came up with. I said, where is it? It went away. Okay. Okay, no matter. Gabby, can I have you type this? Can I have you type host APP? Whoops, no, not here, not here. Wait, let's do it at the top. Okay, today is May 11th, and I'm losing my voice because I've been screaming a lot. I'm leading a lot of meetings. It's just like meeting master. Yeah? Meeting master? Yeah, it's like 3-4 meetings a day. Okay. Okay. So this is
Baby's gone.
just like that. Okay. All right. I'm sure you had a good reason. Host APP.
Wait, it's still.
Gabby's back, and just like magic, the magic is done.
Sorry.
Okay, Gabby, since you were gone, I went ahead and just did this for you. This is my new pre-screening email. So I say, hey, you passed the first round of screening. Now this is your next step. And so this is actually not pre-screening. This is pre-interview. Sorry, pre-interview. And I tell them to visit the website. Tell us what our vision and mission is. And then what's your plan to help move our vision forward to becoming the most innovative hospitality company? And then what would you do if the first one didn't work? And the reason for doing that is I think those are the more... Oh, Gabby, please mute your mic, Gabby. I think it's... okay. And I think the most... okay, I can actually talk softly now because I don't have to overpower the noise. Okay, all right, great. So I think the reason for putting that forward is that is essentially the essence of your first interview anyways. You're trying to see, does the person actually, will they go and do a little bit of research about understanding about your company? And that is essentially question number 3. Question number 2. Question number 3 shows, what's your plan? So can they actually then align their own sort of fit, what their contributions can be to help that plan? And that's the essence of what Gabby's question is. What do you want to contribute with your passion? And then the 4th question is really good. It tests for grit. Can you actually think of what you would do next if the first plan didn't work? And so I think that gets to actually to the very nature of what startup is. Do you understand where we're going? Do you understand how you can help? And what would you do if you had to try harder? And this has reduced about 50% of all the people who sign up for interviews now, probably even 60%. And the ones that do sign up for interviews now know their shit, and it's really, really easy. So I think this is actually a pretty cool tool. This seems to be screening out applicants who can't show up for an interview, who have a casual sort of, okay, apply everywhere, because this probably takes about a good 10-20 minutes to be able to write, right? And it takes, I think, also some internal reflection. So I put that on, and I've noticed that that has pretty good results. I can encourage you guys, if you're moving from JobStreet onto the onto giving them an interview, this could be a very good tool to use, right? Oh wait, sorry, I got that wrong. It's after you've invited them to apply on the Bukit Vista website, then you can send them this before you send them an interview invitation, and that saves a lot of time. Okay, so that's that. Do you have any discussion about this?
No.
Pretty clear? Okay, great. That is good. Okay, so we got that done. All right, we are out of time, ladies and gentlemen. It's already 1 o'clock. We spent an hour on this. So we're going to have to postpone the other orders of new business for the next meeting. But I would like to now move, Gabby, can you move the understand the first screening to the old business now? And please include a follow-up. So the way to do that, Gabby, is just to cut this and then move it to old business now. Oh, you already have it. Contribute to the questions bank. All right, great. So then we can move that. Email questions from Ara, I think we already took care of. So we don't need to follow up on that anymore. So we can just delete the first line. Email questions from Ara, we can delete. We can open up some space. Understanding first screening, I guess we can delete. All we need to do is contribute to the question bank. Gabby, if you'd be so kind, please copy the link from the first screening paper up to there, so then it becomes clear what question bank and where to find it at our next meeting. And then the pre-interview screening we've just talked about, so that part is all clear now. And so on the next meeting, we'll talk about on-site HR trials, we'll talk about screening for passion, and we'll talk about university relationships. Okay, I would like to nominate, let's see, I'll nominate Ara to be the next chairperson. And Ara, who would you like to nominate to, oh, Ara, do you accept the nomination?
Yes, I accept it.
Okay, fantastic. Ara, who would you like to nominate to be your secretary?
Gabby.
Yes, ma'am. Ready to serve.
Okay. All right, Gabby will be your secretary. Okay, very much. That's all done. So what the secretary will do is the next meeting will be on May 18th. And just please put a line on May 18th. And the chairperson will be Ara, and the secretary will be Gabby. Okay, that's pretty much it. Meeting adjourned. I'll stop recording now.